Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class from the second to the fifth elementary grade. Our textbook is We Can Too, and today, inshallah, we will have our third enrichment for the semester. It will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. So now we will talk about our last unit we had in this We Can Too book, which is the first lesson was about giving directions and also learn how to give directions. And the first lesson we learned is that when we listen to a conversation between two boys, where the first one was asking about where is the train station? Where is the train station? And the other one says or answer him by giving two important directions which we learned from this lesson, which is the first one is to walk straight, and turn left. To walk straight and to turn left. And we said that these were the two directions we learned from this lesson. So we said that our aim at this lesson is to know how to ask for a direction of a place and also how to give directions. And how we can ask for directions starts with by asking where is. For example, where is the school? Where is the supermarket? Where is the park? So when we think of any place, this is how we ask for directions. And if you want to give direction, you can start giving by using these two phrases. The first one is walk straight, to walk straight, and to turn left, to turn left. These were the first two directions we learned from that lesson. And also after this, we did listen to a second conversation between two boys, where the first one asked the other about how do you go to school? How do you go to school? And he answers by saying, I walk. How about you? And he says, I go by a school bus. So here in this conversation, we learn one important thing, which is that if we want to use, or if you want to say that we walk to a place, we said, I walk. For example, I walk to the school. I walk to my home. I walk to the supermarket. But if you want to use that, we use car, for example. Then we don't say, I go car. We say, I go by. I go by a car. I go by the school bus. I go by my brother's car. So when we're talking about a car, then we have to say, I go by. But if we want to use a walking, we would say, I walk. I walk. He walks. They walk. But if you want to talk about cars, here at this one, we would say, I go by a school bus. And after this, we did say, try to practice and act out these talks in pairs. So you and your family members and maybe classmate try to ask each other about a certain place and start also to give directions. And after this, in the third exercise, we had the three important words that starts with S and T letters. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to listen to these words, and also we're going to point at each one of them and we're going to say them again. And these words are very important because they are very helpful. We use them in giving directions. So let's start by listening to the first one. Station. Station. Say with me. Station. Step. 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 Stop. 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 So here you go. Here we have the three words: station, step, and stop. All of these words, we can use them when we give directions. For example, let's read this sentence and let's try to write the missing letters of it. So here in this sentence is an example on how to use all of these three words and giving directions. Walk straight to steps. Walk straight 2 steps. And stop. So, walk straight 2 steps and stop. So here we use the word step and we use the word stop in giving directions. So we said that giving direction is important, especially when we are using these words. And after this, we had a game, which is which way are you looking game. And we said that how you play this game by closing your eye and then try to listen to a direction and then you can practice. For example, try to close your eye and listen to directions like turn left, walk straight 2 steps, and then turn right. Try to practice this game with your classmate or family members. It will help you to learn these and memorize these directions by walk straight, turn right, or turn left, and also by the number of steps. After this, we had the rhythms and sound, the lesson of rhythm and sound, where we listened to a chant about traffic light. And the chant about traffic light, it has also not only stating the color of a traffic light, but also what to do when you see a certain color. Let's listen one more time to this chant, and then we will discuss and remind ourselves of the actions that we would do when we see these lights. Chant and do the actions. When you see a red light, red light, red light. When you see a red light, stop, stop, stop. So this is the first thing we learn about the traffic light, which is when we see the red light, the first thing we would do is to stop and stop and stop and not moving. Let's see what we would do if we see the yellow light. When you see a yellow light, yellow light, yellow light. When you see a yellow light, wait, wait, wait. Here is also another direction that we should follow, which is when you see the color yellow of the traffic light, then here the action that we should do is to wait and not to move, not to stop, it just to wait. And finally, the green light. When you see a green light, green light, green light. When you see a green light, go, go, go. And here as well, the thing that we do, the action that we would do when we see a green light. As we can see here, the thing that we would do is that we will go. We will go straight when we see the green light. And also we had sounds and letters where we listen and say the number of certain words. For example, here as you can see, we said that there are certain letters that makes different sounds. For example here, S and H make the sound of sh, ship. And C and H make a sound of ch, chip. And also S and L make the sound of slip. So here we have ship and chip and slip. So we said also that not only these words that start with these letters, but even the words that we have below. So for example, even this word that starts with S and H, which is sheep. And also the second word that starts with C and H, which is cheese, cheese. And finally, the last word here we have is sleep. So here we have different words come in these same sounds. And after this, we said that we have the traffic signal game, where we can listen when you gather a group of your classmates, maybe your friends. You can listen to come together and listen to one leader, to assign one leader. And this leader would say something like this: when you see a red light, then you have to say what to do when you see it. You would say, when you see a red light, stop, and the other would say stop, and the other would say stop. And you can change the color. You can talk about the yellow light and also the green one. And after this, in words in action, we got to know a different means of transportation, different vehicles that we use if we want to move from one place to another. So for example, a truck. This is a truck. And a bus, and a train, and a motorbike, and a car, and a bicycle, a taxi, a police car, an ambulance, So those were most of the transportation vehicles that we use if we want to move from a place to another. As you notice, some of these words we start with a, like a truck, a police car, and some of them we use it with an, especially those words that starts with the letter A, like an ambulance and an airplane. After this, we had an interesting exercise where we said that we need to listen about a trip. We need to listen, trace with your finger from each place to the next to complete your trip. And where do you end up? So here, as you can see on your books, you will see different pages or different pictures of different transportation means. And what you need to do is to point at each time you listen to one of these means. And after this, after moving from one place to another, you will decide where did you end up with. So let's start with the first one. Take a bicycle to the taxi stand. And after this, take a taxi to the hospital, and then walk to the school, and take a school bus to the train station, and take a train to the airport, and take an airplane to the space station, and take a rocket to the moon. So now, after going all of these trips with different transportation mean, where do you end up? You end up going to the moon. Isn't this an exciting trip? And after this, in phonics, we had this interesting exercise where we have listed 8 words, and what we need to do is to match or to write down the missing letters of these words from these sets of letters. So for example, we have BL, CL, FL, GL, and PL. And we said that we need to listen, and also we need to complete each word with the missing letters. For example, the first one was the word black. So here what we did is match it to the color black. The second one was glass. So here we go. We match the GL to the glass. And after this, the third one was a flag. So here we match it to the flag. And the fourth one was a plant. So here we go. We match it to the plant. And number 5 is a clock. And here we go. We match it to the clock. And number 6 is a glue. And here we did match it to the glue. And number 7 is a fly. So here we match it to the fly. And finally, a plate which is a dish that we usually eat. So this is how we answer this exciting exercise, where we listen to different words and we write down the missing letters. And after this, we match each word with its picture. And the last thing we did with this unit is that we had something that is called a picture puzzle, where we're going to write 5 words using using insights from these photos. For example, here, if you have a look at number 1, what can you tell of number 1? What is that thing that starts with letter B and needs 2 more letters? It is a bed. So let's try now to remind ourselves of how did we answer number 2. So the second word here in number 2 is starts with B and need 2 more letters. And what we need to do is try to guess what is the picture of this. So by looking, we can tell that these pictures with number 2, this is a picture of a bus. So here we write the 2 letters missing, U and S. Number 3. Here we have in number 3 a word that starts with P and need 4 more letters. So have a look. Tell me what is from the remaining pictures that could start with P. It is, of course, the third one. This is which is a plant. A plant that can start with P and need 5 more letters. And number 4, a word that starts with C and need 2 more letters, which is these pictures. Number 4, this is a car. And finally, the remaining picture, as you can see, these tires, is number 5, which is a bicycle. So here we go. Here we had bed, bus, plant, car, and bicycle. We said that you can practice this game more often, so you can link the words with their pictures so you can memorize them and use them more often and never forget them. So here, my dear student, we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.